had a situation come up with a client the other day where a house that this particular buyer client of mine had previously written an offer on didn't get accepted, was under contract. The house came back on market because it had a sale fail, and now they have the opportunity to write an offer on that home again and potentially get it back under contract. This made me think, we get a lot of questions from our buyer and seller clients about sale fails. We'll even talk a little bit about backup position, what that looks like. So we're just going to take a minute to talk about that in today's video. So whether you are a home buyer or home seller, hopefully you'll grab value from this video. We're going to touch a little bit on the perspective of what this will look like from the perspective of a home buyer as well as from a home seller. Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah. My husband Spencer and I run a top producing husband and wife real estate team here in the Willamette Valley in the beautiful state of Oregon. We work with a lot of relocation clients, people who are relocating to our beautiful area from all over, which we love so much. We also do work with a lot of clients who are just buying and selling real estate but already live here in Oregon. So if that's you, whether you are relocating to Oregon or you already live in Oregon and you want to buy or sell real estate, we'd love to work with you as well. I will put my contact information below. The first step is going to be shoot me an email and then we can get a consultation call on the schedule and talk about the next steps. So first off, what is a sale fail? A sale fail is what happens when a transaction doesn't close, although both parties have agreed on an offer and the house was under contract. There are many reasons why a sale fail may happen, and a few of them are financing, the buyer's mortgage application may be denied, or if the buyer makes employment changes. Don't do that if you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, don't make any changes on your employment until after you close on your home. If you're even thinking about making any changes on your employment, please ask your lender first before you do anything. Another reason, this is probably the most common, I would say, why we see sale fails happen is the inspection. Say the home buyer has an inspection and something comes back on the home that is just not up to par. Maybe the home needs a new water heater, the siding's falling apart, needs a new roof, who knows? There's so many different things that could happen. Usually when that happens, we will write up what's called a repair addendum. That just means the buyer has the opportunity to ask the seller to do whatever repairs are necessary from that came up on the inspection report. Or they can ask the seller to lower the sale price, basically to cover whatever the cost of those repairs would be. So once the seller writes that repair addendum, asking the seller to either lower the price to contribute to repairs or do these repairs, the seller will then respond. They'll either say yes and do whatever the buyer asks on the repair addendum, or they'll say flat out no and reject it. Or the seller will negotiate and they'll say, we'll do this repair but not this one, or we won't do any repairs but we'll lower the price by this much, or however they end up, handling it. So that is probably the most common time we see home transactions fall through. It doesn't happen a ton because usually buyers and sellers can work out whatever it is on the inspection report. The inspection is a big thing that could potentially cause a sale fail. Next thing, we surprisingly, buyers and sellers worry about this more than they probably need to, because to be quite honest, we don't really see this be a big issue all that often, and that is the appraisal coming back lower than the agreed upon sale price. Now, this can happen. If the home does not appraise, this does not automatically mean a sale fail by any means. Usually the seller and buyer can work this out, and we can talk about that when we get to that point, but if they're not able to come to an agreement, then this could cause a sale fail. Another potential reason for a sale fail is a title search. The title search may turn up legal issues with the home. This is one of them that we really do not see often, but it could happen. The buyer or seller may fail to satisfy contingencies. If there's a contingency on the home selling, they may fail to satisfy those contingencies, leading to a sale fail. The most common one would be the offer that the buyer wrote is contingent upon their current home that they live in right now selling, and then the home doesn't sell, and then the home that they're buying, the transaction falls through because they could not fulfill that contingency. Another reason for a potential sale fail is a change of heart on either party. Usually we don't see that a lot. Now, if you're a buyer and you just have a change of heart, right before closing, and there's nothing wrong with the financing, the home appraises, this is after the inspection period, which we'll talk about that in a second, then you will lose your earnest money. The earnest money is typically going to be between 1 to 3% of the sale price. This is just something to show that you're serious. It's not the down payment. It will sit in escrow until closing. At closing, it'll go toward the cost of the home, towards your down payment. However, it is separate from your down payment, if that makes sense. It is really just to show that you're serious. Unless agreed upon differently in the offer, you will have 10 business days after your offer is accepted, home buyers, to get your inspections done, negotiate repairs, and honestly back out for any reason and still keep that earnest money. However, if you were to back out, like I said, a few days before closing, and it's your fault, it's not because of something that's out of your control, like financing or the home appraising or whatever, then you would lose that earnest money in that case because you put the seller in a really bad position, tying their home up for so long without actually the home being sold. What happens if there is a sale fail and you are the one buying the home? So say you have a house under contract and you end up having to have a sale fail. The house isn't gonna work out. What would happen is, like we just talked about with earnest money, if it is for a reason that in the contract states that you would keep the earnest money, then you would get your earnest money as a home buyer. For example, if things fall through because of your financing and it's not your fault, or because the home doesn't appraise at value, or it's during your inspection period, then yes, you would keep the earnest money. If you were to back out right before closing for no reason, then just because you changed your mind, you would lose that earnest money. Basically, you'd just be back to the drawing board. We'd begin looking at houses right away and hopefully help you find something that you like just as much or more. That's generally what would happen as a buyer if there is a sale fail. The money that you do kind of have to just eat would be the money that you paid for the home inspection. Home inspections generally, depending on the area, square footage, age of the home, I'm just gonna say probably around $450 or so for a regular home inspection. That's not including if you wanna do a sewer scope or something like that. For a regular home inspection, that would be the amount, around the amount that it would be, and you would lose that money if we had a sale fail. That is money that you wouldn't get back, but that's just part of the home buying process. What happens if there's a sale fail and you are the home seller? Just gonna be honest, this really doesn't put you in the best position. It's not the end of the world. We will get your home sold. As your agents, you can rest assured that if you're working with Spencer and I, our real estate team, we will be contacting every single buyer's agent who ever showed your home. We'll be reaching out to them saying, hey, we have a sale fail. We're about to have a sale fail. Is your buyer still interested, to try to get the home back under contract right away for you, so you can know that if you're working with us, at least we're gonna do that for you. Your home's gonna go right back on market and you can begin getting showings right away. Basically, it'll be back on market like it was previously, and we'll do everything in our power to try to get it back under contract for you. However, it's not a good look for you. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the end of the world. Your home will still sell, but it's not ideal, I will say that. When a home has been on market for a really good chunk of time, a lot of times it's because there was a sale fail, because they were tied up for 20 days or so, 30 days, and then it came back on market, and then you have to wait to get another offer. It just doesn't look good for your home. The longer a home's been on the market, the more buyers start to think they can make a lowball offer, because generally that's usually the case. So yeah, it definitely doesn't help you, and it doesn't look good to have your home tied up for that long and not sell. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world. We'll do everything we can to get it back under contract for you, and I know we will get it sold. So now, real quick before we end the video, let's talk about backup position. Say you're a home buyer and the home you want to buy has multiple offers on it, and your offer is the second best, or whatever the seller would consider the second best, because honestly it's completely up to them what offers they choose. So say your offer is the second best in the seller's eyes, then you would have the option, if they choose and you choose both. Sometimes sellers don't want backup offers, and sometimes buyers don't want to be in backup position, but if you both agree, you can be in backup position. Basically what that means is, if in the event of a sale fail happening, if things fell through with the buyer that did get the offer accepted, then you would automatically get to be under contract on that home. It wouldn't even go back on market. You would just be under contract as soon as that sale fail happened, and you would then get the first shot at purchasing the home if you were still interested at that point. Sometimes buyers get in backup position, and then by the time the home has a sale fail that they were in backup position on, by the time that happens, they already have an offer on another home that they like better anyway. so sometimes it doesn't work out. But backup position can be a beautiful thing. For a seller, you don't have to accept an offer in backup position, but it can be a good thing to have, a good little piece of assurance if you do have multiple offers on your home. This does all depend on the housing market. We are in a housing market right now where homes are sitting a little bit longer and buyers have a little bit more playing power. So we are seeing less homes with multiple offers, so you'll have less chances of getting an offer in backup position, if that makes sense. If you're a seller, it does still happen, but it's just not as common as it was. Okay, so that is it for today. If you grab value from today's video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell and hit the thumbs up button. And if you want more information on buying or selling real estate in Oregon, or relocating to Oregon, neighborhoods in Oregon, living in Oregon, head over to my channel. You can find a handful of playlists that I know you'll grab value from. Also, last but not least, like I said at the beginning, if you are considering relocating to or just buying or selling real estate in Salem or anywhere in the surrounding areas, we cover a pretty wide area in the Willamette Valley. We'd love to work with you. I'll put my contact information below, and I'll see you guys next week.